This is a story that really had to unfold naturally. There was nothing that was going to happen if we forced it. The subjects were very private, and really didn't reveal anything to me until after we had spent a lot of time together. And even then, we're guarded about the things that they say. I mean, you have to remember these are men living in a subsistence hunting community in the Arctic, so they're not real forthcoming with their feelings. They don't like to talk about how they feel a lot of the time, and it's just, you know, it's the way that they are. Stan Sr. never came to me and said, you know, I've lived up here my whole life. My son has lived in Seattle. He had some problems, so I brought him up here. You know, it was up to us sort of in meeting the two of them to kind of, we sort of put two and two together. And when we talked to them about their story, they said, yeah, that's basically how that's how Junior ended up here, was that he was in Seattle and he was having some trouble, and I decided to bring him up here to teach him about his culture, to see if that would help him kind of straighten himself out. But you know, Stan Sr. is a really smart guy. He's one of the smartest people I've met on a lot of different levels. I mean, and I think as a filmmaker, when you meet somebody like that has a presence and a confidence to them, and so much knowledge, you're drawn to that. He is a huge proponent of cultural preservation and of handing these traditions down to the next generation. And when he understood that the film was going to be about he and Junior, and about Senior telling Junior about the culture and showing him some of the hunting traditions, I think that, you know, he knew it was a risk to expose himself personally, but I think it was important on two levels for him to try and show his son these things and let his son make his own determination as to whether or not he wanted them to be part of his life, but also to have some sort of a record of, you know, in the form of this film, of what hunting looks like, what fishing looks like, what snaring rabbits looks like, what cooking on a fire looks like for future generations. And that's not something that I ever asked him, or something that ever came up, but I know he's smart enough to know that this film is essentially a permanent record of that piece of the culture, even though it's on a small scale, just between he and Junior. A big part of my process was patience and getting to know them and building trust and having them believe and discover that what I really wanted was for them to tell their own story in their own words.